Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things. I am going through my inventory, pulling all of the retiring products out. They will be retiring at the end of the month. And I noticed two of the three main sentiment sets that Stampin' Up! Has are retiring. I wanted to go over with you the three different ways that I set them up for easy, quick use. I think that each technique could be used. You can use bits and pieces of it. It could be used for any brand's stamp sets. Of course, it is geared toward using a stamp set inside a case. And I also wanted to review a little bit about how Stampin' Up! Designates on their various paperwork how many pieces are in a set. So pick and choose what you like. Also, I want to say all three of these stamp sets are going to be with me forever. I will never sell any of the bulk sentiments that they have. The first one is Itty Bitty Greetings, and this was a 2018 release stamp set. It has 32 sentiments. It has a variety of fonts, and it came with 2 cases. The top has 1 of 2, and the back says 2 of 2. And in both cases it says 32, so the combined stamp set in the 2 cases contains 32 sentiments. So my strategy for this one, it was my first year recovering the supplies that we had lost in December of 2017. So I did not have a lot of supplies. I started pretty much with nothing. I had bought a label maker to replace my old label maker. I love to use label makers, and for 2 of these 3 sets, a label maker is what I used, though I am sure you could do something. In fact, I have a suggestion for this one that you could alternatively use if you didn't want to invest in a label maker. So I wanted to make it easy to choose and for me to be able to see what sentiments are on the inside, and how I achieved that was by using a label maker and typing in the closest font that I had to achieve the similar look to what the stamp would stamp like. Alternatively, the behind this in the plastic keeper sleeve is a blank piece of paper, and the reason why I had to put a blank piece of paper is on the backs of all of their case covers is a quick step-by-step how to use the stamps. So that was going to impede the easy pulling of and easy reading of the sentiments, so I went ahead and took a blank piece of paper and slid it in there. So what you could do is create a light grid on that paper and stamp the actual sentiment right above, just like I had the words labeled right above. You would just go ahead and stamp above and achieve the same result. So that is storage option 1. And I don't know really why I did 3 different ways, but every time I get something, you know, I want to always think of even better ways to improve it. I also didn't think with the other 2 stamp sets that it was necessary to use the labeler, and I will show you why. But before I move on, I have a die. The die paperwork also includes the quantity in very small text here, quantity 9. The other thing is the part number is on the back in the bottom right. And then here, of course, is the name of the die set. On the front, the part number is also bottom right, so they consistently put the part numbering in the same spot on the different paperwork between the stamps and the dies. Now, for the second one that was released, it also came as a 2, but it has single words or short sentiments as well as longer phrases that can either be used on the front or on the inside of your card. And again, it has 51, so there are 51 sentiments. This is the largest collection of sentiments that between the three I'm going to show you. Again, you have the part number on the bottom right, and it does designate it's 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. So these particular sleeve or covers I set aside in a safe place to put back with the sentiments should I ever want to sell them. So I will say you should keep all of your paperwork for the stamps and dies. You know, maybe not for an embossing folder, but the stamps and dies, I think you do increase the value of them by retaining the original paperwork. So keep that in mind. I did have this set aside in a safe place, and I have brought it out to show you. Since I will be keeping it forever, it is going to go right back into that safe storage location. And here is what I did with this one, a little bit different. Again, it's 2 cases worth of stamps, and whenever I get any stamps that take up 2 cases, I immediately want to compress them into 1 case. There is no way to do more than 2, but I've never bought a stamp set from Stampin' Up! That had more than 2 cases worth of stamps. So this particular set, I went about it a little differently because of these longer phrases. It was just not going to work for me to type the phrases. I could have used something like the theme for it, but some of these are just really generic types of phrases. The best of you has made the best of me. So I would have just written the word the best. But instead I thought, I'm not going to use my labeler. I'm going to go ahead and remove the protective cover that talks about the sentiment or the stamp set, and I went ahead and used a labeler just on the end. You could just as easily take a white piece of paper, or not take a white piece of paper, but take a thin piece of paper, type out the message, slide it inside the plastic protective sleeve, and tape it down. Because I use the ability to see the sentiments and the phrases to open it up and easily pull. I just say, okay, I want this one, and I locate it with my finger and I pull it out. And it has been a really efficient way of using this particular set. And you can see that pretty much all of them have been stamped. It has been a very good stamp set. So that's another thing for you to consider. These are all retiring, these 2 that I have shown you, and so they are available while supplies last, or until the end of actually it would be the end of May 3rd would be the last that you could buy these. Very rarely does Stampin' Up! Keep old stamp sets. I think they have a way of they sell them or dispose of them, so don't count on them ever being on clearance. The 3rd set, this one is still current. It does not have a mixed font. It's all the same font except for happy, the ampersand, and wishes. It also has the short phrases and the inside sentiment phrases or long phrases should you want them on the outside of your project. And it says that it's a 1 of 2, part number on the bottom right, and that there are 38 stamps in total making up this whole set. So for this one, I opted for a little bit different strategy. I did use the label maker. I also, like the second set, kept the rubber, and I went with using short words for multiples on one strip, as well as just saying, you know, all of these words are about Hanukkah. This sentiment is about you are loved. This sentiment below is about real heroes. So I did, because this is really busy and not as easy to read as the other one, I went ahead and wrote out a brief, just 2-word explanation of what type of sentiment it is. And this also has worked really well for me. So really all 3 were designed specifically for the stamp set. As I got them, I evaluated them and decided what I thought was going to be the best way to store this particular set for me. So I am sure you can just take whatever bits and pieces of this set that you like, of how I've labeled it. Now this one you can't really use the piece of paper because I've left the rubber base that they cut them out from, but you could easily pull off the rubber base completely and lay them out directly on the plastic and use the white piece of paper. I don't know if there's enough room to stamp all of these on the piece of paper, but if you wanted to, you could just abbreviate. You handwrite Hanukkah wishes, whatever works for you. So you can mix and match the different techniques that I'm showing today to meet whatever needs you have specifically. And that is all I have for today. And if you have any suggestions, questions, or comments about these ways that I have stored my stamps, please leave them here in the comments or over on my blog. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell so you are notified when I drop new videos. Thanks for watching.